The ocean is a world of immense mystery and wonder. It covers most of our planet, a vast blue expanse that holds secrets we are only just beginning to understand. Down in the deep, where sunlight struggles to reach, live creatures of incredible size and intelligence. For centuries, we have looked out at the waves and wondered about the life teeming beneath them. We have seen the great whales breach the surface, their enormous bodies crashing back into the water with a magnificent splash. We have heard their songs, complex and haunting melodies that travel for hundreds of miles through the dark water. These songs have always been a puzzle, a language we could not comprehend. They were beautiful, but their meaning remained locked away in the deep. For generations, sailors and scientists have been captivated by these majestic animals. They are the largest creatures ever to have lived on our planet, yet we know so little about their inner lives. What do they think? What do they feel? Do they share stories of the deep ocean, of ancient currents and secret feeding grounds? Their songs, a series of clicks, moans, and whistles, seem to hold the answers. But it was a language so different from our own, a symphony of sounds that our human ears could appreciate but not decipher. The quest to understand whale song required a new kind of explorer, not one with a diving suit and a submarine, but one that could navigate an ocean of pure data. This explorer was artificial intelligence, or AI. Scientists had collected thousands of hours of whale recordings over many decades. Hydrophones, which are like underwater microphones, were placed in oceans all around the world. These devices captured the rich tapestry of sounds that fill the marine world. They recorded the clicks of sperm whales hunting in the dark abyss and the long, complex songs of humpback whales migrating across entire oceans. This vast collection of sounds was a treasure trove of information, a library of whale language waiting to be read. However, the sheer amount of data was overwhelming for human researchers. Imagine trying to find a pattern in millions of hours of sound, where the nuances are too subtle for the human ear to consistently detect. It was an impossible task. We needed a tool that could listen with perfect memory and tireless patience. This is where artificial intelligence stepped in. AI algorithms are designed to find patterns in massive datasets. They can learn, adapt, and see connections that are invisible to us. A team of dedicated scientists, including marine biologists, linguists, and computer engineers, came together for an ambitious project. They called it Project CETI, the Cetacean Translation Initiative. Their goal was audacious: to use the power of AI to translate the language of whales. The process of training the AI was a monumental undertaking. The first step was to gather and clean the data. This meant digitizing old recordings from tapes, and filtering out background noise, the hum of ship engines, the sound of crashing waves. The scientists wanted the AI to focus only on whale sounds. They concentrated on sperm whales. Sperm whales are known for powerful clicking vocalizations called codas. Codas are short, rhythmic patterns of clicks. Different family groups, clans, use different coda patterns. That suggested codas were like names or emblems for groups. Once prepared, the data was fed into the AI system. The machine began its long, silent work. It analyzed frequency, it analyzed duration, it analyzed rhythm of every click. It did this billions of times, comparing each click to every other click. The AI grouped similar sounds together. It formed a kind of phonetic alphabet for sperm whales. It identified dozens of distinct click and coda types, far more than human researchers had cataloged. The AI wasn't just hearing sounds, it was seeing their structure, mapped in multi-dimensional space. The AI moved to the next level. It searched for sequences and combinations. The day chosen for the first attempt at communication was September 10, 2025. The location was a calm stretch of ocean off the coast of Dominica, a known gathering spot for clans of sperm whales. A specialized research vessel, the Odyssey, floated gently on the turquoise water. On board, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation and nervous energy. For years the team had worked towards this single moment. They had built the AI, deciphered the patterns, and now they were about to send a message into the deep. It was a message crafted not by a human but by the AI itself, a simple greeting in the language of the sperm whale. The team's lead biologist, Dr. Eris Thorne, stood before a console, his eyes fixed on the sonar screen, showing ghostly shapes of whales roughly 200 meters below. The AI had identified them as belonging to the Dominica clan, a group known for its unique coda patterns. With a deep breath, Dr. Thorne gave the signal. A technician pressed a button, the underwater speaker came to life. It emitted a short series of rhythmic clicks, a pattern the AI had named Coda G7. The sound, crisp and clear, traveled through the water. a tiny, human-made whisper into the vast blue silence. On the ship, everyone held their breath. Then, it happened. A full 30 seconds after their broadcast, a new sound came through the hydrophones. It was a clear, deliberate series of clicks. A cheer erupted on the deck of the Odyssey. For the first time we had spoken to another mind and it had spoken back. The initial reply was just the beginning. The single coda that came back from the deep like an opening line, changing our understanding of life on Earth. The AI instantly analyzed the response. A known coda from the Dominica clan's dialect often used after an initial greeting. The AI read it as acknowledgement, "We hear you. Who are you?" The scientists were stunned. Not mere mimicry but a contextually appropriate reply. Not just intelligence but conversational awareness. Filled with a renewed sense of wonder, the team decided to send a second message. This time, they asked the AI to formulate a more complex sequence. Based on its vast knowledge of the clan's communication patterns, the AI constructed a novel phrase, combining several known codas in a new way. It was a question of sorts, a probe to see if the whales would understand a more nuanced statement. The AI designed it to be a gentle and non-threatening inquiry, a sequence that in human terms might mean something like, "We come in peace. We are new here." The response that followed was even more remarkable. It came not from one whale but from several. The hydrophones picked up a chorus of overlapping codas. The AI's display screen flickered with activity as it dissected the complex exchange. The whales were talking to each other, seemingly about the strange new voice that had appeared among them. They were having a discussion. What happened next was something no one on the research vessel could have ever predicted. After the whales conversed among themselves for several minutes, a new and completely different sound came through the speakers. It was not a coda, it was a long, low-frequency rumble, followed by a sequence of tonal pulses that the AI had never encountered before in all its terabytes of data. It was, honestly, a completely new type of vocalization. The scientists on the Odyssey stared at the sound wave analysis on the screen, baffled. The AI itself was working furiously, cross-referencing the new sound against every known marine animal vocalization. It found no match. The whales below began to move. The sonar showed the large shape slowly, deliberately, rising from the depths. They were not fleeing, nor were they approaching aggressively. They were ascending with a calm and stately grace, moving directly towards the research vessel. The team watched, a mixture of fear and excitement gripping them. These were creatures the size of buses, powerful enough to crush their boat with a single flick of a tail, yet their movement seemed curious, not hostile. The first to break the surface was a colossal female, her skin scarred with the stories of a long life in the deep. She emerged just 50 meters from the boat, her enormous eye, the size of a dinner plate, fixing on the vessel. It was an eye that seemed to hold an ancient and profound intelligence. She let out a huge breath from her blowhole, a misty spray that drifted over the deck. Soon, she was joined by several others. They circled the boat slowly, gliding effortlessly. They were not just looking at the boat, they seemed to be looking at the people on it. The revelation that the whales might be actively trying to simplify their communication for our benefit was paradigm shifting. The AI's analysis of the new, simplified sounds provided the first real clues. The whales seemed to be using basic concepts. They emitted a specific tonal pulse, then one of them performed an action. After one particular sound, a younger whale slapped its tail on the water's surface. After another, the large female slowly rolled onto her side. The AI began to correlate these specific sounds with specific actions. It was like watching a parent teach a child its first words. The whales were giving us a key, a foundational vocabulary to build upon. This process of exchange continued for hours, and over the following days and weeks, a rudimentary dictionary began to form. The AI learned to associate certain sounds with concepts. Surface, deep, slow, fast indicators for different individuals in the pod. It was a slow and painstaking process, but it was a true dialogue. One of the most profound discoveries was about their emotional lives. The AI found that subtle changes in the frequency and rhythm of their codas correlated with their behavior. A slightly faster tempo might indicate excitement during a hunt, while a lower, slower rhythm was common when the pod was resting together. We were beginning to see the emotional texture of their world. They were complex beings with rich social bonds, joy, calmness, sadness. Hearing the subtle shift in a mother's clicks as she nuzzled her calf gave the scientists a glimpse into a bond that felt deeply familiar, an echo of love that transcends species. They were the ancient sentinels of the deep, and for the first time, we were able to hear their report. This breakthrough is about so much more than just science. It is about our place on this planet. For our entire history, we have largely considered ourselves to be the only truly intelligent language-using species. This discovery challenges that assumption in the most fundamental way. The knowledge that we share the Earth with another thinking, feeling society of beings forces us to reconsider our relationship with the natural world. Whales are no longer just magnificent animals to be observed from a distance. They are a fellow intelligence with culture, history, and voice. A bridge has been built between our world on land and their world in the sea. The implications for conservation are immense. For too long, our efforts to protect whales have been based on our own assumptions about what they need. Now, we can ask them. We can learn directly from the whales about which areas of the ocean are most important for their survival, where their nurseries are, which migration routes are most threatened by human activity like shipping and deep-sea mining. This direct communication could lead to far more effective conservation strategies designed in partnership with the very creatures we seek to protect. Furthermore, this dialogue has the potential to enrich our own world in ways we can barely imagine. Whales have been living on this planet for millions of years. Their collective memory, passed down through generations via their oral traditions, could hold untold knowledge. They may know things about the history of the ocean, about climate change over millennia, and about seismic events that we have no other way of discovering. Their perspective is ancient and completely non-human. Listening to them could provide us with invaluable insights into the workings of our own planet, helping us to become better custodians of the fragile blue sphere we all call home.